Hello, welcome back to episode 2 of the HTML class. So today we're talking about the HTML attributes. HTML attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. So all HTML elements can have attributes. Yes, all HTML elements can have attributes. And attributes are always specified in the start tag. Now, the first attribute we're going to learn today is the href attribute. Let's go back to our VS Code. I'm just going to name this HTML attributes. HTML attributes. So the first is the href attribute. Let's discuss the href attributes. Href attributes. Now, the href attribute, we have the A tag. The A tag defines a hyperlink. Wherever you see the A tag, know we are referring to a hyperlink or a link. And the href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. And this is what we're talking about. We have the A tag, which is the hyperlink. And then we have the href attributes. And we say this href attribute specify the URL. So let's put the URL. So let's say https www.codeville.com.ng. So right here I can just say maybe visit Codeville. So always remember to save, and then let's go back to our web browser and refresh. Wow, we have this visit Codeville. Now this is a link asking us to visit Codeville. Now for this link to actually take us to Codeville website, we ought to be connected to the internet. So let's just visit Codeville. Click on this. We connected already. You can connect over there, and then let's go. Oh wow, we here already. So this link actually took us to the Codeville website. So you can always define your link here. What I mean is you can always enter your URL. Like I said, the href attribute specify the URL of the page that the link goes to. So that the href attributes specify the URL of the page that the link goes to. And this is your A tag. Now, like I said, it's always defined within the start tag. The attributes are always specified within the start tag. Now, this is an example of the href attribute, which is a link. So let's go to the src attributes. The second is the src attributes. Now the src attributes, which is the source, src is a source. So the img tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The img tag is used to embed an image in an HTML page. The src attributes specifies the paths to the image to be displayed. The src attribute specifies the path to the image to be displayed. Now, for example, we have src, img tag, src attributes here. Now, how do we do this? Let's go to our folder, our desktop. So if you have an image, on your desktop or your laptop or your PC, so let's okay, we have an image here. So I'm going to move this image simply to here. Simply move this image to this. So the image, look at girl is the name of the image, and the file type is PNG. Now we're going to require the name and the file type, which is the extension of this image. So let's go back to our code. So the src, we say girl. This girl has a format. What format? Is it JPG? Is it PNG? Is it GIF? Is it JPEG? We have it as PNG, which is the image format. It says girl.png. Let's save this and go back. So we still have our page code view. Let's go back to our code. Yeah, you can see. Whoops. Now we have our image displayed, but the image is actually too big for our page. Yes, it's actually too big for our page. So that is where the width and the height attributes comes in. Let's go to this. So we're simply going to add a width and also a height attribute. So for the width, let's say 500. Let's use 500, and for the height, let's say 500 too as well. Sorry, say 500 as well. Now let's refresh. Okay, now we have this. If the image is looking distorted, you can as well reduce or increase your height and your width. For example, maybe I want this image to look smaller. I can say maybe 400 in width. So 400 in width. Look at, okay, maybe the height is a little bit too much. Let's reduce it to maybe 450, for example. Just a little bit. You can see that. So you can, always adjust this by changing the values. So if I say 200, for example, maybe here I say 350. So you can as well, see the image is looking distorted. Probably the height. So let's reduce the height. The height, say 150. Okay, you can see. So if you wish to increase the height, maybe you can say 200. You can see. So you can always use the width and the height attributes. So the img tag should also contain the width and the height. You can see the img tag should also contain the width and the height attributes, which specify the width and the height of the image in pixels. Now remember, it specifies it in pixels. I have 200, it is 200 pixels. Height also 200 in pixels. So let's move on to the alt attributes. Alt attributes. Now the alt attributes for this image tag specifies an alternate text for an image. The alt attributes for the img tag specifies an alternate text for an image. So if the image for some reasons cannot be displayed, this can be due to a slow connection or an error in the src attributes. So, or if the user uses a screen reader. So the alt or the alternate text will be displayed. For example, let's say girl with double L. Now, if we do this, we are not going to have any our image displayed. The image is gone. But how do we know this is an image of a girl? That's where we use the alts. So I can simply use it here. Say alts. So maybe I'll say a girl. So we are going to have this text displayed instead of the image, a girl. Meaning a girl. We have an image here and it's a girl, but the image is not being displayed. Meaning we have probably, for some reason, we have a slow connection or an error in the SRC. But I think here we have an error in the SRC because we renamed this as girl with double L instead of one L. So let's save this and then we have our image back. So this is the alt attributes. So if the image does not exist, you have your text there. Now we have the style attributes. Let's move to the style attributes. Style attributes. So the style attribute is used to add styles to an element, such as color, font, size, and more. So surely this is CSS, but let's just dive in a little bit and then explain how this works. So for example, we have a P. Let's say this is a red paragraph. This is a red paragraph. So let's look at this. Is this actually a red paragraph? No, it's not a red paragraph. So let's style this. Let's use the style attributes now to style this. So you say P style. So the style, say color. And what color do we use? Red. Okay, now we have this. This is actually a red paragraph. Now we have the red paragraph here. So this is a style attribute. We just use CSS here. It's called an inline CSS. We'll move to that. We'll get to that, I mean. So then we have the lang attributes. Lang attribute. You should always include the lang attribute inside your HTML tag. Here, inside the HTML tag. So you say lang attributes inside your HTML tag. Language. So what language? Let's say English. EN for English. So you should always include the lang attribute inside the HTML tag to declare the language of the web page. This is meant to assist search engines and browsers. Yes, it's meant to assist search engines and browsers. Now we have the title attributes. The title attributes. Let's create another P. And let's say this is a paragraph. Title attribute, right? So you say title. What do I write in our title? Let's say I am a tooltip. Okay. You can see a tooltip. When you hover over this, it displays I am a tooltip. So the value of this title attribute will display as a tooltip when you mouse over the elements or you hover over the elements. So we suggest that you always use lowercase attributes. The HTML standard does not require lowercase attribute names. but we suggest you always use lowercase attributes. So for example, the attributes and all other attributes can be written with the uppercase or lowercase, like title, or title, like this title, lowercase, or title, uppercase. Remember in episode 1, we said the HTML tags can be in lowercase or the uppercase. So same as this. So we suggest always use lowercase attributes. So you can take your time and go through this codes, this line of codes, and if you have any question, you can drop your question in the comment section, and I will find time to answer your questions. So that being said, if you find this video helpful, you can like, comment, share, and follow us on all our social media platforms. See you in our next class.